BlackRock, the company that owns the world. What if I told you there's a company so powerful? It's connected to everything from your morning coffee to the house you live in. A company that manages more money than the GDP of almost every country on Earth. It doesn't make headlines like Apple or Google. Yet, its influence quietly shapes the world in ways most of us can't see. From the stocks in your retirement fund to the policies debated in government halls, this company has a hand in it all. Its reach isn't just financial, it's political, environmental, and even cultural. But here's the twist. While it claims to work for the betterment of the global economy, some say it's a symbol of concentrated power that's too big to fail, or too big to exist. So, how did this financial giant rise to such dominance? And what does its control mean for the rest of us? Stick around, because this story might just change the way you see the world. Introduction to BlackRock. So, imagine starting a company to fix one problem, and a few decades later, that company ends up controlling more money than most countries make in a year. Sounds wild, right? Well, that's exactly what happened with BlackRock. Back in 1988, Larry Fink, a Wall Street whiz with a knack for risk management, teamed up with 7 other financial experts. They had one goal: to create a company that could help businesses and investors better understand and manage financial risks. And that's how BlackRock was born. Basically, as a nerdy little project to make Wall Street less chaotic. Fast forward to today, and BlackRock is anything but little. This financial powerhouse now manages an eye-popping $11.5 trillion in assets. Yes, trillion with a T. To put that into perspective, that's more than the GDP of countries like Germany, Japan, or even India. If BlackRock were a country, it would be the 3rd largest economy in the world. Let that sink in for a moment. So, how does one company handle that much money? BlackRock doesn't just manage your typical savings accounts or mutual funds. They oversee everything, from retirement funds to real estate investments to massive stakes in companies like Apple and Google. It's like they've got their hands in every cookie jar out there. And where does all this magic happen? Their headquarters in New York is sleek, modern, and honestly, kind of intimidating. But BlackRock isn't just about New York. They've got offices in over 30 countries, managing investments for clients in 100+ nations. Think of it as a financial octopus, with its tentacles stretching across the globe. And here's a fun fact. Larry Fink, the man who started it all, is still at the helm. He's like the Yoda of finance, guiding BlackRock through everything from market crashes to economic booms. Love him or hate him, you can't deny he's built something extraordinary. So what started as a humble financial startup is now a behemoth shaping global finance. And trust me, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to BlackRock's influence. Just wait until we dive deeper into how they're steering the economy, and maybe even politics. BlackRock's influence on global finance. Alright, let's talk about how BlackRock isn't just a player in the financial game, it's practically the referee, the coach, and maybe even the owner of the field. Their influence on global finance? It's massive, and honestly, kind of mind-blowing. Let's start with Aladdin. No, not the magic carpet guy. This is BlackRock's super smart tech platform. Think of Aladdin as a financial crystal ball. It helps banks, governments, and asset managers figure out where to invest, what risks to avoid, and how to make their money grow. Here's the kicker. Aladdin analyzes data for assets worth over $20 trillion worldwide. That's more than the GDP of the US and China combined. It's like the world's economy is running on BlackRock software. And who's using Aladdin? Pretty much everyone with serious cash. Central banks, pension funds, and even governments. So, when big decisions are being made about your retirement fund or a country's economy, there's a good chance Aladdin had a say in it. BlackRock has its fingers in the pies of some of the biggest companies on the planet. Apple, Google, ExxonMobil, you name it. They probably own a chunk of it. And when you own stakes in companies like these, you're not just investing, you're influencing entire industries. Tech, energy, healthcare. Here's a wild thought. Every time you use your iPhone, Google something, or fill up your car with gas, you're indirectly interacting with a company that BlackRock has a hand in. It's like a hidden spider web connecting all these major corporations. And guess who's sitting at the center? BlackRock doesn't just invest, they vote. Yep, they vote on behalf of their clients in shareholder meetings for the companies they own. That means they have a say in how these companies are run, whether it's about climate policies, CEO pay, or corporate strategy. Imagine having the power to influence Apple's next move or Exxon's environmental policies. So, whether it's through Aladdin's brainpower or their massive investments, BlackRock isn't just riding the financial wave, they're shaping it. They're not just big, they're everywhere. Political power and lobbying. Alright, so managing $11.5 trillion isn't enough for BlackRock. They've also got a seat at the political table. And when I say seat, I mean one of the best seats in the House, right up front. Here's how it works. BlackRock has a political action committee, or PAC, that spreads money around to politicians on both sides of the aisle. That's right, Democrats, Republicans, they're all on the receiving end. It's like BlackRock saying, we don't care who's in power, as long as they pick up the phone when we call. Now, what do they use this influence for? Well, let's start with lobbying. BlackRock spends millions each year, around $2.5 million in 2023 alone, on lobbying efforts in the US government. And their talking points aren't about small stuff. They're in the mix for major financial regulations, environmental policies, and even how corporate governance should work. And then there's the ESG debate. That's environmental, social, and governance policies. A fancy way of saying, let's invest in a way that's good for the planet and society. Sounds nice, right? Except not everyone's a fan. Some politicians accuse BlackRock of pushing a woke agenda, while others say they're not doing enough. Basically, BlackRock's caught in a political tug-of-war, and they're still holding the rope. BlackRock isn't just whispering in the ears of US lawmakers. They're global. Larry Fink, the CEO, has met with world leaders from the EU to China. When global summits happen, whether it's about climate change or economic recovery, you can bet BlackRock has a voice in the room. For example, during the COVID-19 pandemic, BlackRock was hired by the US Federal Reserve to help manage its bond buying program. Think about that. When the US government needed help stabilizing the economy, they called BlackRock. That's like Superman calling Batman for backup. But not everyone's thrilled about this level of influence. Critics argue that a company controlling this much money and policy power is too much for comfort. I mean, imagine being able to shape global finance and the rules that govern it. That's next level power. So, when BlackRock says it's just a financial company, you've got to wonder, is it really just that? Or is it one of the most quietly powerful political players of our time? Controversies and criticism. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, BlackRock's controversies. Because, let's face it, when you're the world's largest asset manager, people are going to have a lot to say about you, and not all of it is good. First up, the housing market. Ever heard someone say, BlackRock's buying up all the homes and driving up prices? Yeah, it's become a popular theory, especially on social media. But here's the thing. While BlackRock does invest in real estate, they're not buying all the homes in your neighborhood. Their focus is more on big, institutional properties, not your grandma's 3-bedroom house. That said, their investments can influence the market indirectly, especially when it comes to rental properties and housing affordability. So, are they guilty of inflating prices? Maybe not entirely, but they're definitely part of a much bigger puzzle. Now let's move on to something a bit greener. Literally, BlackRock has faced allegations of greenwashing. That's when a company says, we're super sustainable, but their actions don't exactly match up. Environmental groups, like Client Earth, even sued BlackRock in 2024, claiming their so-called sustainable investments were anything but. And here's the kicker. While BlackRock does push ESG policies, they also invest in industries like fossil fuels. So, it's like they're saying, we're saving the planet, but also making money from oil. Confusing, right? And here's where things get really spicy. Economic concentration. Let me break it down. BlackRock manages so much money, $11.5 trillion. Remember? That they have stakes in almost every major corporation you can think of. Apple, Google, ExxonMobil, you name it. Critics argue that this level of control could destabilize markets or give them too much influence over the global economy. I mean, imagine one company holding the strings to so many industries. It's like a financial version of too big to fail, except way, way bigger. And these criticisms aren't just coming from random corners of the internet. Politicians, activists, even other financial experts have raised red flags. Some people see BlackRock as a necessary evil in modern finance, while others think it's just evil. So, is BlackRock a misunderstood giant or a financial overlord with too much power? Honestly, it's a bit of both. But one thing's for sure, they're not stepping out of the spotlight anytime soon. The role of BlackRock in the future. So, what does the future look like for BlackRock? With $11.5 trillion under management, they're not just reacting to global trends, they're shaping them. Their focus on ESG, environmental, social, and governance policies is evolving, and they're positioning themselves as champions of sustainability. But let's be real, with investments in fossil fuels still in their portfolio, they've got a balancing act to perfect. Blackrock is also gearing up for major challenges like inflation, tech disruptions, and climate change. They're pouring resources into AI-driven finance, aiming to predict market shifts before they even happen. Imagine a world where financial decisions are driven by algorithms smarter than most humans. Fascinating, right? But here's the big question. With great power comes great responsibility. Can BlackRock truly handle it? Are they steering us toward a more sustainable, equitable world, or just securing their bottom line? What do you think? Is BlackRock shaping the future for the better, or should we be more cautious about their growing influence? If this deep dive got you thinking, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. There's a whole world of hidden forces out there, and we're here to uncover them together. Let's keep the conversation going.